Hello, fellow warriors. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Divided, Survived, and Thriving. And in this series, we delve into the lives of strong individuals who not only have survived divorce, but managed to thrive and rewrite their own stories and narratives. I'm Laila Aitken, your host and a divorce coach, and the proud co-founder of Split FYI. It's an online divorce and resource management tool, along with being a supportive community for anyone going through a relationship shift. So today we have an amazing guest joining us, Rowena,
Yes.
Newell. Yes, a style coach for women that lost themselves or are ready to express themselves, in my opinion. So we'll be exploring how understanding your personal style can be a transformative journey after divorce. Rowena will share her own experiences and how this newfound understanding propelled her forward beyond her divorce. And so without further ado, let's get started. Welcome, Rowena. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I've been so excited about this.
No,
Yes,
conversation worth having. I think, before we started recording, actually, we already touched base on a couple of things that we can all relate to. So first, I think it'd be really helpful for the audience to kind of know a little bit about you and your background and what led you here and your own story with,
yeah.
changing your life.
Yes. So I'm going to tell you, I was born and raised in the Philippines. I moved here. I became a cocktail server for the casinos at the strip. And I was modeling on the side too. So, I made a lot of money when I was younger. But at the same time, I hated doing cocktail serving. But at that time, I didn't see anything beyond it. I've always wanted to get married just because as a young, ever since we were young, it's like, oh, that's the ultimate dream. It's always like in your mind. That's like, oh, when you get married, you get here. And that was just my goal in life. Right? It's I don't know if it's the same in the States or what, but in the Philippines, it is like.
Oh yeah, it depends on the culture. And to be honest with you, I think that fairy tale is probably embedded in a lot of females in end of the day in many ways, right? And some maybe not, and that's fine. But I think culturally, for sure, there's an element to it, especially religious cultures like the Philippines. And then you've got that layer of romanticism that all kids and all girls kind of, we had Cinderella, we had all these different stories that kind of guided us into believing, oh my God, that's the ultimate.
Yeah, that's my happy heavily after. I met this guy after like breakups and all that stuff. I thought I knew him. It was fast. And then I knew who he was. I found out who he is. And you know what? I tried everything. I lost myself. I've been through him the worst. I don't want to talk about him in a bad way, but because he's still the father of my child. But for everybody's viewing, he's my friend now, but he cheated on me.
Okay.
And I think a lot of women go through this, and it's important for people to know that it's like, it's not you, it's another person. So he was he's a successful guy for living in Las Vegas, and he said, let's start over. I got a job in Bali, and so and I said, okay, because I'll just support you whatever you want. So gave up everything, gave up my job, gave up I'm all. Before we left, I saw his phone and he was still talking to other women. Devastated me, but it's okay. I said okay, we're leaving. At that point, we're just gonna go there and then just start a new life. It wasn't. I was sad. I was depressed. I was in a new country, no friends, can't drive. and he's still living like he's single. So I was, and then one night that he didn't came home, I was wondering where he's at. So called his phone, and then it was a hospital. Yeah. So, and my sister is a nurse, so I know a lot of like terminologies about. And just like, we're about to intubate him. He got in an accident, a real bad accident.
Oh.
Yeah. So he has traumatic brain injury. He was in a coma. And while, while I was going to text all his family members and do that, I saw that he was still cheating on me.
Wow.
So it's like, I never felt pain like that before, that this guy that's like in a coma, I want him to wake up so I can yell at him. Like, how can you do this to me? But at the same time, I'm like, I have to take care of him. And I have a 1-year-old. And I have to leave her to take care of this guy that's cheating on me, that betrayed me so many times. So I looked at him and I thought I knew pain. I did not until that moment. I could never explain it. I don't know if you've seen Frozen.
Is it? Yeah. I was about to say, it was like, because you were stuck in this situation. That's pain in itself, right? Yes. You had
no family, no nothing. When Anna, because I could not explain it, when Anna thought that Elsa died, and you just paralyzed, and she was sitting there and just doing the right thing. So we met evac him to Singapore because there's no
health facility that could have taken him. Yeah.
Because of all the damage that has, my sister, bless her, she went to Singapore to pick up my daughter so I can take care of Larry, because I could not. I lost 10 pounds in 1 week.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So she asked me, is he cheating on you? Still cheating on you? And in my heart of heart, he's still like Lily's dad. And I'm not gonna leave a guy that's already been been going through this. So I lied to my sister and I said no. I can stay with him in Singapore. I remember being in the US Embassy crying because I have to give up guardianship. So my sister, I'm getting emotional of that.
Oh, of course.
My sister has to take my daughter back in the States so I can take care of my ex-husband now. Did everything, like wipe everything, teach him ABCs, teach him how to read, teach him everything. And on top of that, I was so stressed on where my life is going.
Yeah, of course.
I was mad. I felt bad for myself. I felt bad for him. I felt bad for my daughter. I was crying every day while I was living in the hospital for 3 months.
Right.
And then finally, he got better. He's not the same. But they said that he recovered so good, from that, from having that accident. They didn't know that he will recover like this.
Right.
And I think that's how you take care of people, your love, and and they said it's big, the support of the family. So I went back, took my daughter, go back to Bali with him to make sure that he's okay. I said, we're gonna work things out. He was still trying to fight me all the time. And I was just after the COVID, I was I need to go back to the States. I don't want to be stuck in here while the pandemic is going on. And I thought the break was going to be good for us, but he still was fighting with me. And he was still cheating on me.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. So it's between my sanity and being with him. And I chose my sanity.
Okay. So you chose you.
And it was me because I was gonna, yeah, I was gonna. And then I was during that divorce, I got alopecia. I have like 3 bald spots.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the stress, absolute stress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and it was tough. And then I was
So
stopped for a year. Go ahead.
I have a question though, because I mean, this is, a story in itself. And I know that we're going to get to where you are today, which is
Mhm.
amazing. And this story though is so, and I think very relatable for so many people in different levels, right? Because you compromised a lot of of not only your sanity, but of your life, your trajectory, where you were going, your ability to be with your daughter, and that's a lot. And I think anyone can relate that sometimes when you love somebody and you care for someone and you have a life with them, there's a part of us that feels like they might come around. And so you provide this space for them that is with the hopes of that. And then
Yes,
they constantly remind you, because at the end of the day, actually, it's reminding you that you're giving up a lot to try to prove that they're a good person,
yes. And
or
you're
that person
trying
that
to
you
feel
married.
someone. Yes,
Hmm.
but you
Yeah.
cannot feel anyone else. You
Hmm.
can only
Yeah,
feel yourself. So that
exactly.
was, yeah, that was my journey. And
Hmm. Wow.
mhm.
And you're here today. So
I'm here
tell
today.
me, after you choosing you, what did that look like?
Stuck. I did not know what to do. Um,
Mm.
depressed. Like, besides that, I don't have hair in the back of my head. You know,
Hmm.
I have a child that she's 3. I moved to my sister's house,
Hmm.
move in with her. I don't have anything because I
Hmm.
was in Bali. You know, didn't have money or
Hmm.
anything like that. And then I was just in bed and I was just like, trying to like figure things out. And then, reading a lot and trying to heal me. And then I said, what was constant to me that made me happy?
Mm.
And I said, that was clothes. Like every time back then when I was young, when I feel bad, I will try on clothes and like put then things together and like
Hmm.
it would make me happy. Then I look at my clothes in my closet. I'm like, I don't feel anything. I was not,
Mm.
I hated everything that's in my closet.
Mm.
Then I came a realization while I'm healing myself, all this true stuff. And I was like, because this isn't me. This these clothes are like in influenced by other people, influenced by like me wanting to have a husband.
Mhm.
You know, it was never
Mhm.
about me. It was always about dressing for other people, for their
Or apart.
acceptance. Yes.
Yeah, dressing for a part. I hear that often. And I felt that before, 100%.
Yeah.
It's it's that notion that, we're also drilled to a certain degree around that there's such a construct in this world that, you got to dress a certain way when you go to the school, you got to dress a certain way when you go to work, you got to dress a certain way. And listen, I do believe in being respectful.
Of course.
Obviously, you don't want to put people into this, an uneasy situation where really, and there is a certain degree of that, but expressing yourself and not hindering that is really important,
It is.
because otherwise you're doing everything for especially when you're married. And this happens often, or you start getting into the role like, oh, I'm a mommy now, so I have to dress like a mommy and I have to be this way. Who said that? I mean, just as a side note, I have an Italian mom and she definitely
Oh,
didn't succumb to that. So
yeah.
no way, was she wearing any of the things
Yes.
growing up that the other moms would.
Yes,
So.
absolutely. And that's what made me dig onto like cultural conditioning and
Hmm.
societal perception.
Hmm.
It's we are so pressured about that we lose our individuality.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then on top of that, all the things that happen to us, like the small traumas, the big traumas, and then
Hmm.
you end up like not knowing yourself. So I asked myself why I don't like these clothes anymore.
Mm.
Found the answer, it's like, because I was trying to please someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't trying to please me. There was like, there are none on my clothes, probably 20% that it was me. It was just all about pleasing my husband, other people,
Mm-hmm.
everyone else except me.
Mm.
Put myself last. I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Never knew myself. Never. And I know one of the toughest thing that happened to me was divorce. But at the same time, it was a breakthrough
Mm.
because I found
Yes.
me. I found who I am, who I truly am, what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
And like, and having a girl, I want her to know that, like, you are enough.
Mm.
You can wear whatever you want and
Mm-hmm.
express yourself. And I wanted like women to know that even on the toughest, like when you don't see anything, like you're just stuck in that place. Like, we are so resilient and so strong that
Mm.
we look into our heart, and then we look at into our daughter, and then you'll find a way to like just make things work. And then you
Mm.
just keep on like, and then that's where I'm at right now. And one of my dream is to like tell people that, like, I know you can't see life going better,
Mm-hmm.
but I promise you, it's like it will.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it definitely does. I'm a strong believer. Not only that, a person who's, gone through it myself, and I totally agree. I mean, it's hard to see it when you're in the dark, but there's always a light, and we know that. And, what I really love about what you're also saying, and, what that joy that you found in understanding your own identity is so important, because we mourn the identity that we've lost. We mourn that identity of a wife, or, a couple, or a family, because a family is supposed to
Yes.
look like this. Yeah, I know. And it happens a lot. And that keeps us actually in this mourning for a lot longer, because, to your point earlier, I know he was cheating on me. I know he wasn't going to change. I know all these things. It's easier to get over the person. It's
Mm-hmm.
harder to get over what you were supposed to have,
Yes, the
right?
perception of like, you're.
The wife, the family, the
Yes.
nucleus. And that's
Yes.
where it's hard. You're not really mourning for them anymore, but you're still mourning for that piece. And finding ways to tap into who you really are, what you're saying, whether it is, and a lot of people can say, well, it's kind of superficial clothes. I'm like, absolutely not. I mean, maybe because I'm Italian too, and I've been drilled this, but you really are. No, how you show up, how you, like, what you wear, you're wearing your personality in many ways, right? And look, if you want to wear sweatpants and you're, sporty, and you want to be like relaxed, totally fine. That's what you're giving off, and that's okay too, because everyone's going to have a perception of you. But what do you have of you? That's really what's important, right? And if wearing those sweats or wearing certain things makes you feel good, then do it.
Right. Yes. And but that's the thing too. Like in everything else, I felt like I did not have any control, right?
Mm-hmm,
Everything was
mm-hmm.
just crashing down. Like, this was your dream, and then this is the life that you want, and suddenly it's gone.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
You're mourning
Mm-hmm,
for something. And I was just like, and I was so like attracted to black. And I didn't know
mm-hmm,
the psychology behind
mm-hmm,
it. It's because
mm-hmm.
power. It's like taking back your power.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of truth to that. I was the same. It's interesting. And,
Yeah.
I didn't actually look at the psychology behind it, but that was definitely my wardrobe. I will say that, which is interesting because it is a bit of a mourning color, right? Like, in most countries, you wear black at funerals.
Yes, but
Hmm.
I've learned the psychology on that too.
Hmm.
It's like it's a power color, and like
Hmm.
even now, I love black. I love,
Hmm. Me too.
yeah, and I'm like, it's like, well, you're a stylist, but this is my style and this is my brand, you know.
Hmm.
Black is like, this women that's sassy and a bit dangerous at the same time. And that's who I am, and that's who I feel like, it's like being powerful and just like owning my story, and like I'm hoping that I can like help other women that went through what we went through.
So tell me a little bit about the process, because I know we were talking earlier and you were describing what the difference was between a stylist and a coach.
Yes.
So, and I liked your analogy on that. Do you want to share that with?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a personal stylist, it's like done for you. They will do everything, shopping, get your clothes together, and then you just have to wear it without really knowing you. A personal style coach is like a fitness instructor. You do the work with them. So for me, I try to know you the best way that I can, so you can represent yourself for who you are and not listen to the outside noise that we're hearing. Oh, you have to dress like this. Oh, you have to follow this trend. No, I don't have to follow anyone. I just have to follow my heart.
I like that. I really like that. And it's so true, because we're afraid of it. And a lot of people don't know that they even have that in them. And there's to a certain degree, because as we were saying earlier, we're so conditioned by, being told what to wear, and then from going from that to, what we're supposed to do. And then, it's like, it's a constant. So I feel, and I really do believe that. Like, I remember, it's, we talk about this in our world of divorce, that, there's negotiation colors and there's colors of strength, that when you're going into a place where you're feeling really uneasy, make sure that you're wearing these colors to support you, which there's a lot of psychology behind that. And obviously we're something that is comfortable, but strong, right?
Yes,
Not too comfortable that you're just going to follow into it. So there's all these things that you really, it's learning again, all of that, which is so fun if you think about it, because you have a whole blank canvas in front of you that you can, recreate this or create this, what you really have inside of you outside, which I love.
No, and that's what I always like tell my clients. It's like, what do you feel when you wear this?
Right.
And what do you feel when you wear this? It's like asking yourself, and then you'll discover so much of yourself through those process, and you'll be like, oh, like my client lost herself because she's been a mom of two for so long. And just like, when we were done feeding, she was like, oh my gosh, this is me. She has done all the work, all the stuff in, like, the mental health and all that stuff. But her outside is not matching the inside.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. And it's so true. It really is like, wear that personality on the outside. Don't be afraid of it.
Yes. And a lot of us is afraid of it. I was still afraid of it until like last couple of months. I was like, no, why am I trying to play it small?
Exactly.
Even I knew who I was still trying to fit in, like what I told you. But I'm like, why? I don't want to fit in. I want to claim my position in this world,
Right.
Like, I want people to see me and see what I've been through, and I'm still here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that it is so true. We're so afraid of it. And I know, I feel that the youth is a little bit more adapted to this change of the ideas, because I can see that they are expressing themselves a little bit more. They're not afraid to, which is great. And I think that there's, to a certain degree, that is like all you can hope for. We've moved away from such strong, but you still have the cultures, you still have that construct, and those roles. You're the corporate woman, you're the the businesswoman, or you're the employee, or you're this. It's like, no, you don't need to stay in that lane and wear all those things. It doesn't fit right, or it doesn't feel right. So
yes, or doesn't express who you are. It's like suppressing who you are.
Yeah, I agree. But I think it's very important for people, and in our community, for sure, those are listening, who have going through a divorce or gone through one and coming out the other side. I mean, there's so many things that you're considering when you're coming out, right? You're considering a new job potentially, or career shift,
Mhm.
or dating. God dare I say it, but there's that too. And
Oh yeah.
there's all that, but you don't want to start dating if you don't know who you really are. And then tapping into the process of figuring out who you are inside and what you are all about, and then expressing it. It like finishes it off. It's
Yeah.
like the icing of the cake.
Yes,
Do
and
you know
then
what I
just
mean?
loving who you are,
Mhm. And I
and
love that. Yeah,
just
and it's so
embracing
important.
your whole of you.
I really, and it really does settle well with that. I have to say, I mean, I had, and I ebb and flow for sure. I mean, there's moments where I'm just like, I need to just be comfortable right now. I mean, I'm in Zoom a lot, I'm in this, but I really enjoy the concept of like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to actually dress up and I'm going to make an effort and I'm going to show up for myself, for me, not for other people. I'm doing this for me. I don't really care what other people are
Yeah,
thinking, which it feels really good.
yes, and you see
Yeah.
yourself in a different light. So, for example, we work from home most of the time, not unless my
Mm-hmm.
clients are here in Vegas. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I'm feeling down, I dress myself. I've always dressed myself,
Mm-hmm.
fix myself, and it's like a different person.
I
And
like that.
I think that's if anyone is listening, like
Mhm.
that anyone that's listening to this, I challenge you that when you're feeling down,
Mm.
get your clothes that you look freaking stunning.
Mhm.
Wear it and then fix yourself.
Mm.
Maybe you'll be happy for 30 seconds, but you'll forget what you're going through that time.
You're right.
30 minutes. And then it will just like, then it's like a slow process of
It
like,
is. It's one step at a time, right?
yes,
It's interesting because I have a girlfriend who says, "Oh, when I'm feeling down, I just put on some red lipstick." And I love it because that to her, red lipstick to her is power. And so she's found her thing. Like it might not work for everyone for sure, but for her, putting on that red lipstick makes her feel good.
yes, absolutely.
And I was like, yeah. And she's like, even if I'm sitting in by myself, I'm just gonna
Me
put
too.
in some. Hmm.
I'll be,
So
I'll be sitting and like my parents back then, it's like, where are you going? The kitchen.
the kitchen, just here.
Just here. So, but now they're used to it. They're used to seeing me like, I'm going grocery shopping.
I love it. And and I grew up with a mother who inspired that and did that all the time. And she goes, it's like emotion, it's a muscle that we work, right? Body emotion stays in motion. Well, it's the same thing that you get complacent and that's what we do. We lose ourselves in this identity and that easiness. And then it starts happening. But deep down inside, we're not really expressing ourselves. So
We're not happy.
yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, I love what you're saying. I have your social handles. We'll definitely be putting this in the show notes. I think this conversation is very important and not to be underestimated
No.
by a lot of people. I mean, even men included. We
Yes.
all tend to. It's funny because I'll never forget when was reunited with some of my old school friends from high school. And they've all the guys have gotten married and had kids and come back and I'm like, who are you guys? Like, you gotta let go of yourself, like wearing weird clothes and looking overweight and not taking care of themselves. I'm like, just because you're married does not mean it's like the sentence for you not to look after yourself.
Exactly.
So men do it too. And, it's not about vanity. It's about worth. Like, what are you feeling about
No,
yourself,
it's a self-care. That's what I'm trying to tell people. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
vanity. It's self-care. It's like showing
Mm-hmm.
yourself that you love you.
Yeah, yeah, and respect you and your
Yes.
body and how you show up in this world and how you're showing up for yourself. So there's a lot in there that's
It
really
is a lot.
important.
I'll actually
Mhm.
send you this picture that I was just reading about, like about the psychology of clothes, that it's our second skin.
Mhm. It is.
It is part of our life.
Yeah,
So
for
why not
sure.
work it with you, not against you?
I agree. Don't fight against it be with it, be one with it. I mean, it works for a lot of cultures. I have to tell you now, I'm coming from the Italian culture, the French culture. You see that it works for them. I mean, it's amazing. So
It is. And I wish a lot of like, people understand it more because I think fashion has kind of demonized the fashion world, kind of,
mm,
but because of the stick thin that you have to be this size to be like,
exactly. None of that. It's not
no,
about that. It's
it's
about
not
taking
about
care of
that.
yourself and
Yeah.
expressing yourself the way you want. I mean, listen, my daughter right now is wearing jeans that three people can fit in because that's her style. She likes the big jeans and cute little top and belt. And I mean, something I would never wear, but I was like, well, that's who she is.
Sure, that's who she is right now.
That's what she wants to wear. And I'm like, go for it, and which I'm kind of happy about because I'm like, I'm rather that than you showing off your beautiful body. So I was like, okay, you could do that.
Yes, absolutely. Me too. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And that I'm all about like my niece is the same thing. She's into anime and she expresses herself. And I said, good for you, girlfriend. She will
Yes,
go out in like an anime. I'm like,
love it.
I love it.
Let him 100%. I love that. Anyway, so I definitely think that this is a very important topic. I think that it's helpful that it's almost giving permission for people to be like, yeah, that is actually important, because a lot of people are afraid to talk about these things, about looks or what you're dressed like and so forth. And it's, again, divorce isn't the end. It's a breakthrough, and there is so much after that, and it's like, ooh, how exciting is that to tap into that? Who are you going to show up as yourself, and how is that, and what does that look like?
And
So
and then like how the world will see you. Your
it's so
life.
exciting.
Yes,
It
and
is.
it is. And I just
Yeah.
want everybody to look at that. And then
Yeah.
like,
Well, I think that, I mean, what you're doing is great.
thank you.
And sure, there's a lot of people who can, use your support in all of this. And I love the fact that you're helping them and empowering them to start tapping into it. It's like, I'm not going to do the work for you. You're going to do the work, but I'm going to help you figure that out. And I'm going to really
Absolutely.
hold you. So I think the guiding force is really important. Well, thank you for this conversation. I will be putting all your details in the show notes,
Okay.
and they can find you, I know, on Instagram. What's the name of your Instagram handle?
Rowena_styles underscore.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
we'll put that in the show notes for sure for those of you who are listening. Thank you, Rowena, for being with
Yes.
us
And
today.
if you have any question and if you're struggling, like,
Yeah, reach out to her. I mean, definitely. We started our conversation on Instagram, and you're very open to that. So
yes,
100%.
absolutely. It's just because I think people doesn't, sometimes we feel alone
Yeah,
and then we don't know who to like,
yeah.
oh, reach out.
Thank, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
this
you for having
conversation
me.
today.